Hi and welcome. This is Rebecca from Enlightened with Essential Oils, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you haven't already checked out other videos, you can go and do that after this video if this is the video that you're after. So today's video is going to be on oils by numbers, which is kind of cool. It kind of sounds like artwork, right? But actually, it's about numerology. So I've got some notes sitting here beside me, and I've got a load of oils that have been planned out for each number. So if you're into numbers, if you're always looking at divine numbers, if you're looking for alignment in numbers, if you're looking for synchronicity in numbers, alignment, all of the different ways that numbers help you in your life, I really wanted to go through and actually do an amazing breakdown of what oils could be actually really special to go hand in hand with these oils. I also have my Young Living catalog, which I'm going to give you a brief snippet of information on each of the oils. So if you want to stick around, this is actually probably going to be a long video, but if you'd like me to break it down into 9 different videos, I can actually talk much longer on each of the oils. So let's start with oil number 1. Oil number 1. So in numerology, let me get that out. In numerology, the number 1 represents being fearless, being masculine, being in that active, moving energy, very fiery energy, very individual and creative, and also destructive energy. So there's a lot of energy on. So there's basically there's a balance, a scale, like where I'm an individual, I'm fearless, I've got so much courage, I'm really I know my strengths, I'm determined, I know who I am. And then there's the opposite side of the number 1, which is the creativity versus destruction. There's more things like addictions and things like anger and fear. So fear and fearlessness. So fear is the side of one that we want to kind of bring it into being fearless, or at least having courage in the center. So the number 1 has its own scale. So you can go from the destructive things and the addictions and those kind of competitiveness, and which is not so bad to be competitive. Sometimes it can actually be a good driver to be competitive. So survival mode, which is kind of like brings out then the warrior inside, right? So creating that leadership within, and being independent and having fearlessness. So that's kind of what the number 1 kind of embodies and encompasses. When you think about number 1, when you see the numbers 111, usually it means you're on the right direction. A lot of people will probably get different readings and have different numbers, which mean different things to them. But generally, it's quite a 1 is quite a strong energy. And in fact, I believe it's a master number. I'm not a numerologist, just to disclose that. I actually have this information which was shared to me by my cousin, who is a numerologist, and she uses it predominantly for personal use, but she does do readings for some people at times. And she's very amazing at her work. So because I love numerology, even well before I had really created that connection with my cousin, I already was into numbers by Doreen Virtue before she obviously moved her or swayed her opinions around all of her work, which she recalled basically. So this is really nice to kind of have this refining kind of time to get to know numbers a little bit better and less on the surface, but more on that deeper level. So for me to put an oil to number one was kind of difficult because there's so many things. So I've actually put all my number oils out, but some of them might also cross over into other numbers as well. So for this masculine energy, this like, you know, really warrior and advocate and life force and courage and, you know, that adrenaline type of strength oil, I actually would use the oil, which I absolutely adore, is Sacred Mountain. You might not be able to actually see that very well because it's such small writing. And also there's that gloss from the light. So Sacred Mountain is such a beautiful oil. Oh, it's a bit stuck down at the moment. It's a very light oil as well. It's not a heavy oil. So let me just read to you about Sacred Mountain. Sacred Mountain is here we go. Is a blend of Lang Lang and conifer essential oils. I think that's why it's so light, because it's very pine-like. The conifer essential oils that evoke the sense of sanctuary found sanctity found in nature. When diffused, this blend promotes feelings of strength, empowerment, grounding, and protection, which is that very much that conifer, like, you know, how big that plant is, that tree is standing alone. It's strong. It's, you know, it can flex, but it's like full of power and protection. It provides protection also. So Sacred Mountain is a beautiful essential oil that would sit on that scale of the number one. On the other side of number one, with regards to, you know, things like being in the present moment and well, actually opposite to present moment, like, you know, distraction and, like I said, addictions and competitiveness and just, you know, if you want it to balance out, if you're feeling like everything has gone tipped overly, like, you know, anger, all of those kind of things where you're like not just competitive now, but you're, you know, there's an aggressiveness that's like, you know, not in balance in the masculine. So the other oil that I chose for that is the oil Awaken. So that's kind of just like something to get the spirit back into that balance of that that strength energy. So Awaken is a blend of 5 other blends expertly formulated to help you become aware of limitless potential. Awaken is the first step to making positive life changes. So I love the blend Awaken also. It's a very beautiful oil. This actually comes in a 15 ml as well as a 5 ml. It does have a hint of neroli. It's a low floral tone, but again, quite a light oil. So that's number one. Number two, I think I should probably break these down into smaller videos, actually, to be honest, because this is going to probably become like a big video, but that's okay. Stick with it for now. And then if you guys want me to break it down into like a playlist, I can go deeper into the oils. This is still quite surface information of what I'm giving you. So let's look at the oil number two. The oil number two is about more the feminine. It's about being open. It's about relationships with others and self. It's about kindness and cruelty, rudeness and gentleness. It's about, you know, just being in denial or, you know, false sense of peace that can kind of tie in with, you know, spiritual bypassing. The word should comes to mind. Doormat, diplomacy, negotiator, networker, subtlety, people pleaser. So you can see the two balancing sides of number two. So the way that I kind of went with those energies is being in the feminine is very flowing. It's very freeing, and it's very peaceful place to be, and it also comes with a lot of ease as well. So the feminine and being open and receptive in connection and all of those things is very flowing and beautiful. So the oil that I chose to go with is harmony for that side of the scales. So if you're feeling like you're connected in, you've got like a lot of beautiful self-love, you're finding that kindness is flowing, you're feeling gentle and, you know, in harmony, and you know, you're feeling like you've got a good balance. Harmony is a beautiful oil. So harmony is more of a floral aroma. I'm just going to say it's very well rounded. The oil itself is quite harmonious. So let me get up the oil harmony in my book. Harmony talks of this spiritual and emotional blend may help with releasing emotional burdens and stubbornness by creating harmonious balance in the mind, spirit, and body. So it's actually for harmonizing, but I would use it to enhance your already feminine harmonized part of you. The opposite of being in harmony is obviously discord, and that will be things like, you know, being a troublemaker, people pleaser, blaming others, being in denial, you know, not having any boundaries, being really rude, being a little bit cruel, disconnected, all of those things. So that brings me to the oil Sarah. So Sarah is quite a strong floral aroma. It's quite a big scent of floral. Let me just quickly open up to Sarah, and I'll tell you why I chose Sarah, because Sarah is a really, I mean, there's a lot of oils, like even Trauma Life is an oil that you could use to overcome, you know, all of those feelings. But Sarah, I think, goes even beyond even Trauma Life. I think it goes into, you know, like patternings. Like, you know, these kind of things I've just spoken about are generally kind of like those patterns that we've carried through. So let me just quickly read to Sarah. Let me just find it in the catalogue here, just to give you a snippet. Sarah is a blend of geranium, lang lang rose, blue tansy, and other essential oils, and was designed to be a soothing scent during difficult or emotional times. So I actually feel like it's a complex emotional oil, actually. So I think it takes you back a long way. And also it does have the oil white lotus in it, as well as rose as well, and German chamomile. Very soothing and very feminine oil. So it's a very beautiful oil to also work alongside harmony. You could also use them together. It's quite a florally aroma then, but even still, harmony is to keep your harmony, and Sarah is to bring you back into harmony, or you can use them together. I love those two oils for the number 2. All right, so let's move on to number 3 now. Number 3 is the number of, and I know this one well because this is actually part of my numerology for my life. 3 is a big number in my life, which is around communication. It's around being a writer. It's about the power of words. It's about speaking. And obviously, you guys know I've been doing videos for quite some time now. It also has, like, you know, being joyful, playful, creative. It also, on the other side of that, is kind of things like self-doubt, criticism, manipulation. It can also go into vanity. You know, it can be like, you know, I feel like talking about ego there. So the opposite of like having the ability to have amazing communication. Also, it goes into things like psychic kind of awareness, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, channeling. So, you know, the ego is about, you know, sometimes talking about appearances, and like it's like a facade rather than like the vanity side, rather than the internal, which shines brilliantly. So those are the kind of amazing things that you can incorporate with the number 3, like what that encompasses, what that number embodies. So there's again the more you know, balanced and, you know, I want to say, I'm not really a big fan of the word positive, but you know, there's positive and negatives. But I think it's more fulfilling, more rewarding side of the number 3, other or oppositely less fulfilling and more draining side of number 3. And I think this is the balance. So balancing up for reward and draining, like, is to be able to just feel you know, really balanced in all of these numbers. To get that balance right is something I guess we all can struggle with at times in different levels. So I've actually put down for number 3 for that fulfilling side of number 3 within the whole power of words, public speaking, joy, fulfillment, creativity, all of those kind of things, optimism, is magnify your purpose. This is a very cinnamony kind of aroma. Oh, I love magnify your purpose. It's a very beautiful aroma. Let me find it to share with you. I need to keep my book open, but it's very hard to keep my book open. I'll let you know it's a heavy book. So it's a really nice catalog. It's kind of like one of those coffee table magazines that's quite thick and heavy. So to try and like bend it open is actually quite difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. Okay, so let me I'm finding magnify your purpose. The essential oil blend stimulates creativity, desire, focus, and motivation, encouraging you to seize initiative and bring your dreams into reality. And it has some really beautiful aromas, like even like nutmeg and ginger and sacred sandalwood, patchouli, sage, cinnamon is the top note I would get out of it. Coriander, bergamot, and lang lang and geranium. A very beautiful, very sacred blend. I'm going to try and leave my book open so that I can. I know I feel like it's going to close on me, so I need to squish it down, but it might flick. Okay, so the opposite side, so like we're talking about, like, you know, the self-doubt, the manipulation, the criticism, the flirtation, the vanity, you know, all of the things that feel like they're like not balanced, that are like feeling like the scales are weighing down instead of being uplifted. So to bring that back into balance, I feel like the oil joy is actually the way forward for the number 3. And in fact, the other side is also still joy. So even though I said magnify your purpose, because I feel like it's very much one of those oils that is kind of like a very, it's a very, my words are like so many right now. I've got so many words floating through my mind. Like it's a very, it's a very personal and creative and deeply like honoring kind of aroma. And I feel like that's what's required for things like communication. It's well thought out. And I think magnify purpose is very well thought out oil. And joy, on the other hand, is an oil which can, you know, really like bring you up and uplift you. And it's a very uplifting oil, joy. It's a very, it's light, but it's also deep. It's got both, actually, joy. You can smell a lot of notes in joy. Let me read joy to you. So joy says, the alluring and sweet aroma of joy invites a sense of romance, bliss, and warmth when diffused. When worn as a fragrance, it invites togetherness, happiness, and confidence. Yeah, I think magnified purpose is a confident oil also. It has bergamot, lemon, which is those lighter notes, palmarosa, lang lang, rose, geranium, jasmine, Roman chamomile, coriander, and tangerine. So it is quite a florally light oil, like with all of the citrus tones in it. It's very light. So that is our number 3. So we've covered number 1, number 2, and number 3. I feel like I'm going to have to break these down. It's going to be epic. And there's still 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a lot to go, guys. So I may decide maybe to go halfway and then split this into part 2. And maybe another time I will break them down into their own singular numbers and go even further. So maybe I'll do part 1 and part 2 in this one. And I'm up to number 4. So number 4 is around family. It's about foundations, about stability, security, predictability. It's about endurance, hard work. It's about being organized and planned. It's very salt of the earth, very grounded, practical, mature. On the other side of that, it's very cautious and boring and serious, stuck in a rut, stubborn, rigid. There's a lot of structure on the number 4. So, people that are very good at being organized have a strong number 4 in their life. So the oil that I thought was really amazing to help, and I probably could think of other oils as well to go hand in hand with this particular number 4, sorry, is the very first oil that came to mind though, straight up, was grounding. So grounding is actually on that, on the upside of the number 4 on the scales, when we're weighing it up. And grounding is it is a gritty oil smell, but there's also a lot of greens in that smell too. Let me just get gratitude up. Let me see if I can keep this book open. Gratitude. Foster a grateful attitude and embrace the blessings in your life. Oh, I'm looking at gratitude, not grounding, sorry. I do have gratitude in one of the other blends. So grounding is a balancing and grounding blend of scents, usually promoted to feelings of clarity and enhanced spirituality. Diffuse this relaxing blend to help with restlessness during times of chaos. So it has white fir, pine, angelica, northern lights, black spruce, cedarwood, juniper, and lang lang. So I can actually really smell all those pine, juniper, kind of sprucey fir, kind of those conifer leaves, those pine needles pretty much in this, which is why it's such a green. But because it's so grounding, because all of these trees are like, they're the same kind of ones as Sacred Mountain almost, but they're like a lot more. So grounding is like, deep into the earth, roots like going deep and wide. Like, this is the depth and breadth of grounding, is these beautiful big trees, majestic trees. So then on the number 4, on the other side, like I said, was serious, boring, cautious, stubborn, rigid, all of those kind of feelings. So the other word that I thought was on the other side of that is actually having some vision, because when you're stuck in a rut and you're being a bit boring, you're not quite sure. I know when my children are like, having moments where they're completely bored and they just don't have anything that they can envision. They actually just need some time. Actually just need time to actually just sit with their boredom, be in boredom, so that then they can actually have the inspiration coming up and through and have that vision, and then they go and they start creating again. So I really feel like when you're wanting to get into the awareness of being something that's mature and has really beautiful organized security, predictability, all of those planning type things, it is always best to start with a vision first. If you don't have a vision, you don't even know where you're going. And then how can you even plan if you don't know where you are going? So it's best to start with where you want to go and then start planning from there. So I really feel like that 4 is a really planning oil. And I really believe that the oil Envision is actually one that can lift up out of those things of being stuck in a rut or being boring or being serious all the time. It gives that playfulness, you know, that ability to I love the smell, you know, create that awareness of where you want to go and creating that relationship with times around planning, like goal setting. So Envision, let me tell you about Envision. Envision, where are you? Envision contains scents that stimulate feelings of creativity and resourcefulness. That's a good word, resourcefulness. Encouraging renewed faith in the future and inspiring the strength necessary to achieve your dreams. I love that. So I think Envision is a really beautiful oil for that reason. I actually would also pair that with grounding together, because then you can really deeply ground your vision into the, like, making it deep and wide. Like the depth and breadth of the vision will actually sustain and create endurance of that vision. So that is number 4, grounding and Envision. Alrighty, so this is number 5. I'm going to actually make that the end of part 1 once I finish number 5. Even though I know that there'll only still be 4 left after that. Because it's not 10, it's only 9. I'll be doing 5 this time and 4 next time. So I'll be doing 6, 7, 8, and 9 in the next video. So I'll pop the link up once I've actually created that in the description below. So look out for that. Keep your eyes peeled. I'll probably do both of the videos before I even put them up. So it probably will be there for you in the description straight away. So you can always pop over there after I finish. So let's go on to number 5. So I've actually chosen 3 oils for number 5. So number 5 is around freedom, wilderness, progression. It's also about living outside the box. So that's part of that freedom and wild, kind of limitless, kind of no perimeters type of adventure type, you know, lover of life, outdoorsy type person, you know, that kind of thing. Sometimes on the other flip side of that, there's a lack of responsibility, immaturity, selfishness, addictive personality also. There's, you know, like just even like in their sexuality, they're more in it for the instant gratification. So, you know, there's the upside and the downside of the scales of the number 5. All the numbers have it. So I'm going to go through all of the oils that I believe would be amazingly paired with the number 5. If you see 555 all the time, this oil will be great for you. It's a great oil combo. I love this combination. So the first oil I'm going with is Inner Child, which is really that ability to witness your inner child, your playfulness and your joy, your ability to be, like, you know, free within yourself. And I love Inner Child. It's a hard one to. I'm just going to read to you what the oils are, because I can't even. It's so well balanced, that Inner Child oil. It's so hard to know. Yeah, that's why. So let me just read to you. The sweet fragrance of Inner Child encourages you to connect with your spontaneity, joyful and authentic self. Diffuse this soothing blend to process thoughts and emotions that are keeping you from moving forward. So the oils that are in this are orange, jasmine, northern lights, black spruce, tangerine, raw Hawaiian sandalwood, neroli, lang lang, and lemongrass. That blend is getting all of the notes in. It's got the top, middle, and base notes all very well, and they're obviously emulsified so well that you've got this like this oil, which is almost like unidentifiable which tone it actually is. It doesn't have the lightness or the heaviness. It's just so well balanced. So I love that. It's got all of the amazing, beautiful oils inside in a child. Yeah, I think I'm picking up the jasmine, the orange, and there's something else that's on my palette. If you love smelling things and you love, like, you know, if you're a wine tester, a wine connoisseur, you would probably really love essential oils, because you can get that same, like I said, at the back of the palette, at the front of the palette, you can still, like, through that aroma, it just hits in different places in the glands, in the senses. So it's actually quite a beautiful experience to be able to enjoy smelling the aromas of essential oils also. The next oil, which I love for number 5, which is pretty much the first thing I said about number 5, is about freedom. The oil is actually called Freedom. So I love how it's got the beautiful picture of the silhouette of the horse on there, which kind of feels like free spirit. And I believe there is a movie called something like that as well. What is that as well? Freedom. Let me check out what freedom has in it. That again feels like it's probably a little bit. Yes, it is. Oh, freedom's not in the catalogue. Wonder if freedom was maybe freedom was a blend. Oh, maybe it was for the symposium special, a limited edition oil. Damn, sorry about that, guys. I don't know if we can actually still get this oil. In fact, I don't think I've got anything left in this oil anymore to even use, but I love that oil. Another oil which I would love to share with you, which I actually don't have in my collection, but I've wanted it for a long time, which could have a similar spirit around it, is not the Freedom oil, but there's an oil called Journey On. I feel like they're a Gary Young collection. The founder, the owner, who's no longer with us, and his wife Mary Young is now, before I guess his children will be successors of his whole business, and also working in the business as well. So yeah, I wish I could have my glasses quickly right now, and even, like, I'm doing pretty well reading out of the book with this small writing. I've got my glasses there so I could read to you and compare the oils. There's the oils listed on the actual label are really tiny. They're super tiny. Here we go. So it's super blurry now. So in this oil there is triglyceride, which is coconut oil but liquid. There's balsam copaiba, lavender, sacred frankincense, vetiver, Idaho blue spruce, peppermint, palo santo, valerian, and rue. Wow, that's a very earthy aroma. I love that Freedom. I think I can probably smell the rue, which is the least amount in the oil because it's the last on the ingredients list. So the Journey On has in it, it's actually a blend of blends. It's got Dreamcatcher, Immune Power, Motivation, Peppermint, Copaiba, camphor wood oil, cinnamon bark, and blue tansy. Not unlike Freedom, I feel. So yeah, so let me just read to you about Journey On. Journey On is a commemorative blend celebrating the life and vision of D. Gary Young. This inspiring aroma is herbaceous and earthy and can be diffused to motivate your personal journey toward whole life wellness. Like, I think that also sums up number 5 as well. Freedom also embodied it. I don't know if it's still available in a limited edition or if they only release it or if it was just released as a once-off, but you can certainly get a lot of those oils as singles and make your own. You might not get it into its perfect, but you can certainly try. I don't actually know if you can get rue on essential oils with Young Living. I think that might have just, you know, it may have been a crop that they had that they were like, I'm going to make this special blend up as a limited edition. So I apologize for that, guys. But Journey On is in the actual catalog, and I'm pretty sure I've still seen it in stock. So you can still get yourself that. And I really do feel like that does embody number 5. The oil that I'm going to use for the downside to lift it from being rebellious and, you know, razzle dazzle, which is not a bad thing. Razzle dazzle is fun, right? A bit like, you know, instant gratification, like, you know, irresponsible, selfish, immature, those kind of oils. I'm actually going those kind of emotions, not oils. There's no such thing as an irresponsible oil. Just saying. Oh my goodness, I've been talking for too long. I really do need to make a part 2, and I need to grab a drink of water as well. The oil, the final oil I'm going to share with you guys is the oil Release. So Release is quite a floral aroma. It's beautiful in the diffuser. Oh my goodness, this one you can diffuse all day and all night. It's such a good oil. It never gets old. I love the oil Release. So let me just check on what Release says. So Release says, Release is a blend with a relaxing aroma that facilitates the ability to let go of negative emotions such as anger and frustration. When diffused, it promotes harmony and balance. So it's got quite a few oils, and I won't list them all. But basically, you can see how going from, like, you know, all of the downside, the immature, selfish, irresponsible, to let that go, to come back into the, you know, the ability to, you know, gain back that sensuality and that inner child, and that ability to live outside the box. Like, you know, Release can let go of those things. It can be part of that, or you know, allow it to balance back up, you know, so you can have that balance. So I've chosen 3 oils for number 5. Yeah, so that's part 1. That was, the last one was number 5. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in part 2, doing 6, 7, 8, and 9, which I've actually got 1, 2, 3 oils. 3 numbers have 3 oils, and the last one has 4. So there's a lot more oils to cover as well. So I'll see you over there. And if you have any questions at all about, you know, numerology, this information, the oils, if you want to become a member, if you want to get any of these oils into your collection, and you'd like to get them at a wholesale price, it's easy to become a member. There's, you know, it's super relaxed and easygoing. You can become a member to for your own personal use, or you can become a member to promote the oils and become a brand partner. You've got lots of options, no kind of stuck in kind of contracts. It's all about what you want, and I can help guide you through that, or I can actually just help you with getting started, and then you can, you know, if you're that quite independent, you know, number 1 kind of personality, then, you know, you probably got this. You're going to be able to figure it out all on your own, and be very self-led, and, you know, find your way around what you need to do in your order. So if you would like to make an order, you can click on the link below in the description. That will take you through the process, and it'll be very simple and easy, and you'll totally get it. So yeah, other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.